Hello, Pauper fans. This is Mathonical playing Rally Gaunt, and we are now in the quarterfinals of the Pauper Challenge. Our opening hand is not amazing. Our opponent, I look them like once we get to the quarterfinals, I'm always looking up our opponents. So Motorhead is he's either on Stompy or Burn. This hand against Stompy is great. Being able to get the Standard Bearer down on turn 2 and follow that up with Battle Screeches is a winning game plan. Against Burn, this is a really shaky keep, but the Standard Bearer has the possibility of eating a burn spell. We would need to draw rather well, but mulliganing down to 6 doesn't improve our chances that much. So I do go ahead and keep this one, knowing it is a little risky. And I'm really hoping Motorhead's on Stompy. Our opponent doesn't play. I'm pretty sure they just kind of F2'd through their first main phase, which is fine. But then we see the mountain. It's unfortunate for us. We do play the Standard Bearer because we do have the Soul's Attendant to try and gain some life, but they do bolt it right off the bat. We play the Soul's Attendant there. We have two different options. Essentially, we can save it until after we have a Battle Screech ready to go. But I decided to go with a slightly riskier line of playing it immediately, knowing we can Battle Screech the following turn. Just because our opponent is already putting us under pressure and we want to try and gain life as soon as possible. And as the way things are going, we would not have had 5 mana available on turn 5. So we get down as many birds as we can. We're trying to race our opponent at this point. We don't have many turns to live. We're hoping that we can get a life, one of the Soul Sisters off the top, but turns out our opponent, with the curses and the various burn effects and the archer, was able to burn us out, so we're not even able to draw our next card. Very unfortunate, but our opponent had a great hand and ours was fairly sketchy. So we're going to jump into game 2. Take a look at the sideboard. We basically side out all of the combo in this matchup. They have, their entire deck is burned. They have as many ways as they could possibly want to stop our combo. So that is not a realistic way of winning this matchup. We pull in all of our removal. Oblivion Rings are able to take care of the aura that pings us once per turn, and they are of course all good against the Firebrand Archer and their Thermal Alchemist. Hollow is basically here for this matchup. It's also great against Electricity, but being able to counter a burn spell and gain life from it is very game changing. And I've been considering going up to 2, especially if we move into a more burn heavy meta, since it does also work against Electricity, as I mentioned. That is our sideboard plan, and it gives us pretty good chances. You may think that with all the Soul Sisters, we have good winning chances, but since they're playing so much burn, we need to get some kind of lock with a Benevolent Bodyguard being able to protect it. So this opening hand is reasonable. We have white and green. We have a protection effect. We have a removal, and we have lots of creatures that we can get. We also have a Midnight Guard, which our opponent may decide is worth burning. But the one thing this hand is missing is a Soul Sister to go along with protection effect. But that's no reason to ship this one back. So we go ahead and keep. We do not play our Bodyguard right off the bat. We are looking to we basically want to get our green source to play the Commune. That play, it's hard to know which is the optimal line, whether to play the Bodyguard right off the bat to find out what we get drawn next, but I wanted to try and get a protection effect into the graveyard to even protect our Bodyguard from burn. Our opponent plays the Martyr of Ashes, which with our current hand is a very good card against us. Here, I was F6'd. I'm not actually sure if I can sacrifice, seeing as there is no target that I could legally target, so I think that would have gone through either way. But I'm going to have to test it in the future, because if you can sack it in response to Magma Jet to stop the Scry, that would be very, very helpful. Scry 2 for a burn deck is great. We do run out one of our Soul Sisters because we don't have that many options. We have multiple Soul Sisters, and we're kind of hoping that at some point he'll crack the Martyr of Ashes. Although if he's burning our Soul Sisters, we're gaining time with that. We do have a Journey of Nowhere to deal with the Firebrand Archer, and we do luckily draw our land, and it is a land that will give us multiple mana sources, which is great. But we're still in a very tight spot since we want to play our Soul Sisters, and we want to play around the Martyr of Ashes. We had the option of playing this plus the Midnight Guard and hoping he'll kill them both with Martyr of Ashes, but I decided to leave up Hollow, thinking that he may have a Searing Blaze, and this is what I want to use to counter it. He ends up playing around it since it's 3 mana, so we're not able to really do much there. We try and play our Standard Bearer to absorb some burn. He plays the Lightning Bolt, which we go ahead and use our Hollow to protect ourselves from it. Now, though, he's going to be able to cash in the Martyr of Ashes, but we're hoping that on the back foot we're going to be able to play another Soul Sister and gain life, but it turns out he has another Martyr, which is what we see when he cracks this one. So now I have a long think here, and it's really difficult to know what to journey. Getting rid of the Thermal Alchemist means we're going to be taking less damage over time since he's a lot of that. But if we get rid of the Martyr of Ashes, we can start playing our creatures safely. So I end up going with the longer game plan and hoping that it gets around, but he ends up having another Thermal Alchemist. We did know about it when he sacked his Martyr of Ashes, so that was the other reason why we took the Thermal Alchemist. I think it may have been slightly better to get rid of the Martyr of Ashes just to try and get some kind of life gain going and get the Battle Screech online, but our opponent ends up being able to kill us regardless of the line we took. So Burn is a fairly difficult matchup, even though you wouldn't think so, just because we are a bit of a slower deck, and if they get a good hand with lots of removal, especially like 3 Needle Drops back to back to back, yeah. If Burn is a really heavy deck in the meta, I think Hollow should be a few more than just the one. It is the best card in this, since they won't often play around just 1 mana being left open, and being able to protect our Soul Sisters is what we need to do to try and gain enough life over the long game. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me through this series. I hope you've enjoyed watching Ralligond in action, and that you learned a few things along the way. Please leave comments, like, subscribe if you like this kind of content. It lets me know that you would like to see more of it. If you want to see more Ralligond, let me know. I might be able to play it in the next challenge. We'll see. I do think that Boros Monarch is the better deck. It doesn't really have polarizing matchups like Ralligond does, but it has game against the entire field. Ralligond is the kind of deck, though, if you want to just have a I win, you've got that. If you want to lock out a bunch of decks and so they have no chances of winning, that's also the kind of, like, you can do it with this deck as well. Especially if you don't want to play blue or black, play Ralligond. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed, and thank you for watching.